let the signal balance out. Ooh, ooh, let the signal balance out. Ooh, ooh, let the signal balance out. Hey, you guys, welcome and welcome back. I am so glad to see you again, honey. We are going to do a very important reaction video today. Thank you guys so much, first of all, for showing so much support to the channel. I really appreciate it, you guys. And this one was requested, but also one that I was planning on doing. So if you replied to my community post about what topics that you want to see, I am working on those topics and I appreciate your feedback. But for that viewer who suggested that we talk about the importance of pregnancy and the importance of women understanding the power that they have when it comes to bringing life into this world, we here, boo. We here because I was planning on doing this video and I'm so glad that you reinforced that plan so that I could go ahead and get it done. But today, you guys, we're going to be talking about the importance of the womb, what it means, and on a spiritual level, the responsibility that women have when it comes to having children. There have been numerous videos that I have done that showcase my lessons when it comes to having children and who I chose to have children with. Oh my God, there's a legit spider. Oh my God, you guys. I don't want to kill it, but I'm a little nervous. It's crawling. Ay, ay, ay. Succotash, where did it go? Why, God? Why? I don't want to kill it because spiders are good omens. So if y'all see the spider crawling, please tell me so it doesn't like get in my hair. Oh my God. Oh. Okay, God is trying to get me to work on my fears. Oh my God, I'm really nervous, y'all. I'm sorry. Snowflake, get the spider. Get the spider, girl. Get the spider. I'm going to breathe and I'm going to hope and pray that that spider minds its business. Okay. As I was saying before I was so abruptly interrupted by that spider, I have made numerous videos about my choice to have children, one of which I actually ended up getting a lot of views on and a lot of people watched it and they didn't necessarily like my perspective, but it was about me regretting having children. And it's not so much regretting my actual children, but it's more so regretting who I chose to have a child with and the circumstances that brought me to motherhood in which I had to face. This is a struggle for me to talk about, you guys. It's still a struggle for me to talk about. It's still something that I deal with every single day. And it's never going to be something that I forget about or that doesn't affect me because my children are always going to be a part of my life. Whether I'm here or they're here or not, God forbid, I don't want anything bad to happen to my children. But this is something that a lot of women deal with. A lot of us have to cope with our choices and the decisions that we've made regarding having children, who we've had children with, or whether or not we want to have children. So I felt like this video was very important for a lot of us. I felt like this video needed to be done for a lot of us. And I hope that you guys enjoy the content, but also gain something knowledgeable from it. Oh my God, spider, please go away. I mean, live your best life, but Jesus Christ. You guys, I don't know why this spider wants to hang out and like have the video with us. So I'm just gonna try to chill, okay? Because it's a lot, but please, please, please browse the channel. I'm telling you, if you're interested in content like this, if you're interested in knowing more about my perspective as a mother and what I've learned and what I've gained over the years being a mother, there's definitely a reservoir of information that you can find on the channel to possibly help you in your thought processes and whatever decisions that you have to make. And I hope that any of my content is helpful to the people who are watching it, not just for pure entertainment, but also for education and knowledge, you guys. I feel like I'm overcoming fears that I've had for a long time, and I just don't see anything as a coincidence. And the fact that that spider showed up, and I'm a little nervous because it's living somewhere in my mic stand. I feel that it's very symbolic of the fears that I've had to face coming into myself and into who I am, regaining my confidence and regaining my independence from some very difficult situations that I realize my role in, but that I also feel like have been perpetuated and facilitated by a lot of the societal stigma stigmas that we all live with. I'm kind of getting emotional because back when I did my video about regretting having children, I got a lot of negativity and backlash from the video, and it wasn't just from men, it was from women as well. And I'm a little nervous to do this. I'm a little nervous kind of to do anything creative because I've been met with a lot of negativity when I show who I am and I express the parts of me, the parts of my heart that are really authentic to who I am. So it's very emotional for me. One of you asked in a reply to my video about regretting having children to discuss how losing my mother at a very young age, at least for me, I was 13, and it was a very pivotal time in my life. And I feel that it was necessary, not saying that I wanted it to happen, but when I say necessary, I mean that for me to realize who I am and who I'm meant to be, it was a part of my journey that had to happen to bring me to this point today where I can see the other side and talk to you guys about what I've experienced. And it's very difficult for me, but I'm going to do it because this is something that I feel called to do. And it's something that I feel like needs to be done. So I'm going to do my best to deliver to you guys the content that will enrich you and help your lives in the ways that I have felt guided to. And with that spider being here and me having to face a fear physically, literally in the moment, it's very symbolic of a lot of the fears that I've had to face since my mom passed. And part of the reason that I think I had children so young is because I was trying to recreate the dynamic between me and my mother. And I definitely wanted to feel love and give love. And in a way, I feel like I had children so young because I thought that if I became a mother, that I would somehow be closer to my mother. And it's just very interesting making decisions. It's very interesting how humans make decisions. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I plan on doing more videos, or at least one video that I have planned right now about motherhood. So stay tuned for that. I know that I've been rambling on a little bit, but you guys know, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue to catch the vibe. And without further ado, let's get into this TikTok reaction about motherhood and pregnancy and the importance that the womb holds, along with the responsibility that you have as a woman to protect it. Oh, y'all, dang, my leg. I was sitting on my leg, now it's asleep. Golly. Okay, come on, y'all, let's get into it.
When a woman opens up her womb, which is really her heart, and her womb reflects, whatever the man is thinking, feeling, eating, is going to be injected into her. It's going to become that. Now, she's already that before he came. So it's not like he's something wrong with him and then she's great. She had a frequency that brought them together. What happens, if she already has that frequency of lack and hurt and disappointment, she's going to attract someone on the same level. But what happens is magnified when they come together. Because she's a seed and she receives, she is going to get sick. He's going to feel better because he's going to release the anger and the pain. Now, he's not going to change his diet, so he's going to keep getting sick again. He's not changing his mind. He's not changing his lifestyle. He's not forgiving his parents. He hasn't done any emotional healing, so he's going to continue on that pathway. But she also, so now she's not only carrying her issues, she's carrying his issues. It's magnified, so that's where the tumors and the fibroids and the long menstrual flow is happening, and that can lead to a hysterectomy. So it's very important to clean yourself up as a woman, first and foremost. Start your lifestyle.
Okay, we're getting into some things, y'all. Oh my God, now I'm like, okay, we're getting into some things. What she said was straight facts. You literally take on the person who you have children with. But let's continue.
Energy.
Energy. Everything vibrates inside of it, and it cannot be dissipated. It can only be exchanged.
Womb.
The womb, inside the womb is the universe, as above, so below. The creation of everything comes from the womb, just as it comes from the noon or the nun. See? Confirmation.
As you spoke. Words.
As I spoke.
Period.
Die for knowledge.
Period. And you guys pay attention to those confirmations. She was talking about the womb, and then the bird crowed, or it squawk, 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 squawk. Okay, that people don't pay attention to that stuff anymore because they've created this dynamic where everything around us is so loud and we don't hear what the internal wisdom is that's coming from within us, but we also don't hear the external wisdom that's coming from our planet. Okay, just pay attention.
Being 39 and having to do clearing work for all of the past relationships that I've had has got to be the most exhausting and also mind-altering experience I've ever had. Because when you come to this point in your journey and you realize, like consciously understand and see, perceive energetically all of the imprints that were embedded in your sacred womb, from all of the relationships and dynamics that you merged with, it will blow your mind. This is what I do for a living. I am consciously working in the energetic realms to clear and transmute and rewrite and build higher templates for myself and the collective and the divine feminines who are awakening to themselves. But it just blows my mind how much infiltration takes place when we merge. When we merge, my beloved, when we merge, there is a transfer of data that takes place, which is why, you know, that whole purity concept isn't religious. It's not, it's really not religious. It really is about reverence of your temple, because you are a temple. You are a sacred vessel. You are in an intelligence. Your sacred womb houses information. It's a hub that can manifest worlds, creation, life. And depending on the information that is being downloaded into that sacred womb through interactions and merging.
When she says interactions and merging, she means intercourse.
That is what manifests in your reality. Now I need you to think about something. You're a computer, a supercomputer. You may not be actively engaging in all of the programs on the computer. It still has the computer programs, okay? It's still housing all of the programs. And depending upon where you are at in your life, certain programs are going to be just running automatically. And you're not even going to know. It's software, hardware. You do not consciously know which programs that have been embedded in your sacred womb that are running subconsciously in the background, that is depleting your life force energy and or manifesting distortions in your reality. Are you going to be in alignment? Are you going to be able to actually manifest the things that you want? There's a capacity and threshold that your sacred womb just calibrates on. And if you are not actively calibrating it to have and build its capacity, whatever programs are on there, it's using all of its storage. Unless you cleanse it and you clear it and you recalibrate it and you start consciously writing new programs to manifest a higher reality.
The womb is one place where it would very easily hold a lot of trauma. And I think as women, there are so many different experiences we can have that would potentially get stuck in the womb if that comes from any form of sexual or relationship issues, if it just comes down to our negative self-talk or our negative self-belief around being a woman and a menstrual cycle. I just feel like there are so many elements that come back to the womb, even experiencing an abortion or a miscarriage. Is that why it's so prevalent in your work and why you do womb healing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the womb, she is our portal. She is our gateway. She is our gateway to transformation. Our menstrual cycle is our little spiritual guide, of teaching us how to be in the ebbs and flow, of teaching us how to be a woman, how to navigate navigate those experiences of ups and downs.
Today we'll
Navigating the ups and downs. It's like a compass.
be talking about the creator of heaven, the woman. Now our ancestors left us messages for the future. And this blue goddess that is hovering above, what symbolizes that the goddesses have rulership over the spiritual realm. The universe is separated by waters above and waters below. As a child, when we look at the stars, we would say, twinkle, twinkle, little star. If you look at the stars, it looked like light reflecting on water, just like we see with swimming pools. And breaking through this water would be symbolic for childbirth. As above, so below. You must come through the portal, or the womb of man. Once you get through the portal, you will enter a new reality. And during this time, you will hear the doctor say that your mother's water just broke. And this just means that you entered the portal through heaven. And now you're about to be born on earth. As above, so below. And when this baby is still forming inside of the mother, the soul have broke through the water, and it is looking for its body. And before walking on land, we was in the water. We was seamen, or seamen. Peace and Ashe, family. Hope y'all like the lecture.
Your womb is a multidimensional portal. You have the ability to transmute, alchemize all energies, including soul tie.
So I practice celibacy. That allows me to harness my energy into myself, not allowing everybody inside of our womb, because as women, we have a responsibility of our womb. It actually has wisdom. It has intuition. It's another portal to the spiritual realm. So when we let anybody inside of us, we actually transfer their DNA into us as well. So that's why we sometimes be like clumsy and get crazy, is because who we sleeping with. If we're practicing a sacred space for our womb and cleansing our womb, healing our womb, we're gonna get, I feel like, spiritual download. We have the portal to create life here. We have to be responsible as women. I don't play about our womb out here. I think the coolest thing ever is being pure. Like, being pure, that's a beautiful thing for a woman, is to be pure. Release the soul ties and getting back to our pure state.
Okay, so that was a lot. We just digested a lot. The thing about it is, the first lady that came on talked about how you absorb through your womb spiritually a lot of negative energy from the people who you encounter. And then as we move through the videos, if it's breaking up and getting staticky and it looks like I'm skipping or my voice isn't matching what's on the screen, just know that the internet connection is bad. I have internet and there's nothing wrong with my internet, but it seems like when I do these videos, there's always this energetic interference. What that means is that whatever message that I'm bringing, there is a powerful yet irrelevant force that is trying to prevent this message from getting out to you guys. I did a video a while back about the 4B movement, when women started talking about the 4B movement, and I referenced how a woman's womb is a portal. It's a portal to bring life. The woman's womb is the Holy Grail. I firmly believe that, because there is no other vessel that can provide eternal life through the continuation of your bloodline. And I want to say that all of this is my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, so please do not take this as medical advice. Please see the disclaimer below. This video is for entertainment purposes only. There is a lot of vibrational activity going on within your womb. It's electric, it's static. When a man is penetrating you and you are magnetized to that person, we all know there's suction. Okay, maybe you don't, but I'm telling you, there's suction. At that time, that is a magnetization. And when you have a very high level of spiritual energy connected to your body in that way, it is going to pull gravitationally towards it. But as the owner and operator of said vessel, you have to make sure that what is pulled or gravitated towards it is worthy of engaging or interacting with it. That's the whole point of this video. Because if you are the Holy Grail and you hold the key to a person's bloodline progressing and continuing on this earth, that is eternal life. And I'm willing to die on that hill. So when it comes to you as a woman, we talked about how you absorb the energy of a man when you are sexually active with that man. And then we talked about the generational trauma that could be passed down through your womb, not from a man necessarily, but possibly from your ancestors, from your mother, from your grandmother, from your great grandmother, that you not only have to kind of work through and sometimes fight against, but that you also have to allow to fall away and be shed. So the importance of your womb is much deeper than just having babies. That's the major part, but it's also helping to cycle out a lot of the negativity that women have been going through all these years. You see everything going on with these, as Cat Williams would say, big deviants coming out. You see everything that's going on with Diddy, and now there's even another lawsuit. I don't know if you've been following the situation. Now there's another woman that's come out with a lawsuit against him and one of his associates. And I'm just here to say, for anyone who doesn't believe it, the reckoning is here for women. And any woman who is not practicing respect of her own vessel, it's not going to be a pretty situation. And I'm not, condemning any woman who may have a more promiscuous life. But what I'm saying is that now, right now, is a time where you have to be very careful about who you lay with and who you procreate with, because there's just a lot of things that we cannot see roaming this earth at this time that wish to, let's just say, stay active. Let's continue.
I seen this girl's TikTok earlier, and it said if men were the ones that could get pregnant and have babies, they'd be acting hella uppity. Would they not? Would they not? They be acting like they should do not stink. And how stingy they would be with their bodies, because they'd be like, bitch, fuck you, I make the babies. Like on some real shit like that. Like they would literally be acting like that towards us. So how about we take a motherfucking page from their book and start acting real uppity African around this bitch with our fucking wombs? You know what I mean? If that man is only providing comfort for you, as in laying up, watching movies and getting food, and him putting that thing up in that thing, get away from that nigga. He ain't doing nothing but holding you motherfucking back from your true potential, and realizing it at this point right now, and not when y'all break up and you finally, you finally, and then you find out. No, find out right now. Start being stingy. That nigga don't deserve you. You make babies. You make babies. You have the portal between worlds, and you ain't acting uppity? Bitch, come on.
I know that's right. Period. Okay.
The single most important decision we can make as a woman is who we bear children with.
Yeah, I know.
If you've been following me for a while, you know that I am a girl's girl. Yeah, I saw this creator on here, and she was going on and on about her baby daddy and how trifling he is, and she went on and on about, and I don't want to share custody with him because he's this, that, or the other. And then there's the family. Like, we need to be looking at the dynamics in the family, personalities in the family. Genetics are funny. They are. Like, for example, my dad, who had kids, he wasn't even in their life, but they act just like them. Genetics are funny, and it never stops. People think when the kid turns 18, it's over. No, it's not. Y'all gonna have graduations. The kid gets married. You're gonna be at the wedding together. Y'all gonna be taking wedding pictures. They have kids. You're gonna be grandparents together. You are sharing a lifelong contract. You are sharing a lifelong contract. It never stops. It never stops. It stops when the good Lord says that it stops. When he decides to take you, the other parent, or God forbid, that child. And nothing absolves the fathers out there from taking responsibility and taking care of the kids that they made. It takes two to tango. I get that. So if you are a young woman and you have not had kids yet, be very, very careful and very selective about who you mate with. Hey, don't go out there willy-nilly having a baby with somebody, because you are tied to that person for life.
Period. Okay. I just have to stress this. Okay. I know I said it earlier, but I have so many videos on this channel that I talked about the relationship that I was in, the marriage that I was in, the ways that I was just tore down from the situation that I was in with the person who I initially had children with. Then I went and did it again like an idiot, right? But you know, everything happens for a reason. I'm not ashamed of my actions. I'm willing to talk about what I've been through, and you guys will see as you watch those videos, you can tell the amount of stress that I was under. When she said that is a contract for life, it is like a contract written in blood, okay? What was that song that they said? We something blood. I don't know, it's a rap song, right? Y'all know what song I'm talking about. That's what it is. It's a contract. It's a soul tie. It is a soul contract that you have when you decide to lay down. And not only is just the act of intercourse creating some type of tie to whoever you are sleeping with, okay? Doesn't matter if it's LGBTQ plus or not. The act of intercourse is creating a tie with the person who you are sleeping with. But when you take it that one step further and you actually connect with a person to have a child, and you have that child on that level, even if you don't have the child, even if you end up, God forbid, losing the child or, you know, terminating a pregnancy, you still have that bloodline connection. There's a such thing as your Akashic records. You have a connection to that person's bloodline and lineage and ancestors and history for literally the rest of the time that your soul exists. And I don't know if you guys believe in, you know, having multiple lives or multiple lifetimes, but I am someone who firmly believes in having multiple lifetimes. And if you create a bond or an attachment with someone, really explore what that attachment is before you take it to that step of bonding yourself to that person for life. Because little do you know, and what a lot of us have learned, a lot of women have learned the hard way, is that we are rebonding ourselves to someone who we've broken away from for our own good. There may be a lifetime where you lived. Everybody says that, oh, soulmates, soulmates, soulmates. A lot of times what people don't realize is that people who you think are your soulmates, or people who come across as soulmates, or people who you have an eternal familiarity with, which that's what a soulmate is, somebody who you have an eternal soulful familiarity. Your soul remembers that person's soul. Sometimes you don't know, or you can't see at the beginning, if you're in a certain state of mind, that that person was a negative influence on your soul, meaning within your Akashic records. You don't know it yet. You don't realize it yet. And then by the time you do, if you've already been intimate with the person, you've created another bond, and now you're having to dig yourself out of a hole that you've already dug yourself out of. That's where karma comes from. That's what people talk about when it comes to people saying that, you know, they have to break the soul tie. It's because you're dealing with the actions of your past catching up to you, reliving it, because you still haven't learned your lesson. And it's very deep, because if you are a woman and you hold the power to literally create another human being who lives and breathes and evolves into an adult from an infancy stage and grows throughout their life, you have to understand the gravity that comes with that. And I don't think that a lot of us have been taught to understand that. I know that a lot of us get it after it's too late, and that's what we are working through now as women. This is our karma as women, to understand again the power that our womb holds. And it's a beautiful thing. It's not negative, but there are certain controlling forces that would wish, or that desire, or that plot to have control over that portal. Hear me when I say, I have another channel. I created a video, not for the public, only for my members on that channel. And it is a spiritual channel. It's my particular choice of spiritual practice. But if what I'm saying is a lie, they would not have literally deleted the video that I created explaining this. If I was lying, then they would have not removed that video. They didn't demonetize it. They didn't cut certain parts out. They literally deleted the whole video. That's not for no reason. And if anybody doesn't believe me, I'm pretty sure there's some people who may watch in the comments who know what I'm talking about, because I have video footage of that and I can prove that. So if, as a woman, our portal in which we use to bring life was not important, they would not be doing so much. They wouldn't be stretching so much. They wouldn't be reaching so much to have control over it. That's all I'm saying.
Did y'all know that your blood type can determine your fertility? Two certain blood types that are not compatible are 87% likely to get a miscarriage. And two uncompatible blood types can also have deformed babies. And they also can be infertile. So sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes it's deeper than that. That's why it's so important to know your partner. Please know what type of blood types they are. Ask questions.
I didn't know this, but if you and your partner have opposite blood types, then your baby might have an opposite blood type of you, and your body reject the baby. So you have to take this shot called the NTD shot. More than that, I don't know about.
Okay, so what she's talking about is called RH factor, which is inherited. So this RH factor appears on the surface of our red blood cells. So if you are RH positive, you have this protein on your red blood cells. If you're RH negative, you do not. Now let's say mom is RH negative and baby is RH positive because baby got this from dad. So what mom's body can start to do is it sees this protein as foreign and it can start to attack the baby, right? Kind of like when you do an infection or bacteria. So your body can create antibodies against baby's red blood cells, which can cause severe anemia in future pregnancies. It can cause miscarriage. It can cause stillbirth. It can cause severe brain damage. So this is why we give Rogaine, which is anti-D, to prevent mom from making these antibodies. If her red blood cell, if her blood essentially, and her baby's blood ever has a chance of crossing, we pretty much give this anti-D Rogaine to prevent mom from making these antibodies against her babies that are RH positive. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, so let me tell y'all a story real quick too, because the older lady that was speaking about how this is a contract that you create when you have children with someone, and to be very wise about who you have children with because genetics are funny. Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's very true. There's a lot about genetics that we don't know, and I don't know. I'm not presuming to know. Again, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, so please don't take this as medical advice, and I am not advising anyone medically. This is just a reaction and commentary on the subject. I'm just letting you guys know that this is a real thing. I actually experienced what she's talking about, having RH negative and RH positive blood cells and the proteins on the blood cells. I experienced this personally in my life when I had my second son, okay? And genetics are very strange because when I had my first son, it wasn't an issue. And I had my first two children by the same man who I was married to. So after I had my first son, I actually, which this is crazy because I don't know. My second son is literally a miracle baby because not only did I not know that I was pregnant with him for the first like 6 months of my pregnancy, I had like whatever they call the pregnancy where you don't know that the baby's there. Like I was literally still having a cycle. What ended up happening was I more than likely got pregnant right after. It had to be like very soon after I had my first son. I got pregnant with my second son because they're a year and a week apart. Okay, I didn't try. It just happened like that. Now, I ended up going to the health department in my area to get birth control after I had my first son. And I started on the birth control, and I believe it was like the depot shot, and I still ended up getting pregnant. It was crazy because I was still having like a cycle, and I was still feeling as if I was not pregnant. Like I didn't see any change in my body. But genetics are very strange because I didn't find out about him until I was 6 months pregnant. And it's literally like he was screaming at me from within my body to let me know that he was there, because one night I ate dinner and I felt horrible and I just could not stop vomiting. Like I was throwing up so bad to the point where I started to throw up my like stomach acid. It was yellow, and I'm not trying to be like overly descriptive, but this could be something that may help someone. I was in a situation where I no longer had anything in my stomach to vomit up and foams. I started vomiting up foam. It was so strange. It was just like bubbles. My ex-husband at the time contacted the ambulance. He called 911. Pretty much they rushed me to the hospital because I could not stop vomiting. Like I was having pains in my stomach. And the doctor came in and told us, they were like, how long have you been feeling like this? All this type of stuff. And I just told them that it happened tonight and I didn't know what was going on. And they told me, well, I'm not sure if you know, but you're pregnant. And I was just like so blown away. I'm just saying, kids, if they want to come, they're going to come. But do your best. Do your absolute best as a woman to really get to know the family, get to know the person in all situations. Because once I found out I was pregnant with him, they also told me that I was RH positive or something, like either I was RH positive or I was RH negative. I can't remember which one. But what ended up happening was that because I carried my first son, he deposited some type of residue like antibodies. I don't know what it was. I'm not a doctor, okay? But what she was just talking about with RH positive, RH negative, when I found out I was pregnant with my second son, he was at risk of literally being anemic. And I know it was that because I had to go to the doctor so much during that pregnancy. Usually when you're only going to the doctor maybe once a month during certain times of the pregnancy, as you get further along, your doctor visits increase. And instead of me at the time where a usual pregnancy would only see the doctor once a month, I was going twice a month. And then when you would usually go twice a month, I was going every week because they had to literally monitor the levels in my blood of the RH positive or RH negative factor that she was talking about to make sure that my body wasn't eliminating my child. It was crazy because I was so anxious around that time and worried about his safety. But the reason why it was an issue in the second pregnancy and not the first pregnancy was because by me carrying my first son who held blood that was mixed between me and his father, it created that effect in my body to where if I carried another child, that they could possibly be at risk of not surviving or being anemic and not being able to survive the entire pregnancy. And it was something that I never had or was aware of. They did not make me aware of this during my first pregnancy. So it was literally a result of me carrying a child who shared blood with me and his father. That's just what I feel a lot of women don't understand, is that not only can your child be affected by the type of relationship that you have with their other parent, but you as a woman especially can be affected and your entire life can change because of you choosing to have a child with a certain partner. And now moving forward, even with my youngest child who has a different father, I still had to go to the doctor more frequently because they found that the antibodies were still in my blood, but they didn't see it affecting him in my womb. It was a very nerve-wracking situation. And even if you feel like you love someone and you feel like you're going to be with that person forever, there's nothing that really guarantees that to be true or not true. But more than likely, your soul and your spirit will tell you if someone is right for you. If you pay attention to it, you can prevent yourself from possibly changing your life for a negative reason. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the child is a blessing, but if you have a child with someone who you end up not being with, or who ends up showing their true colors to you about who they are and what they believe and how they're going to act, and then you are not with that person anymore, but then you want to continue your life, you could be possibly at risk for not being able to live your life as freely as you would like because of the fact that you allowed that first person to kind of implant things into you. And it's spiritual. It's not just physical, because what we see in the physical is just a representation of what's going on in the spiritual. When the original video that we first played, where the woman with the headdress was talking about how you take on that energy and that the toxins and the spiritual toxicity and negativity that a man needs to release, you're bringing that into your body if that man is toxic. It's kind of like it goes both ways. If a man is positive and he has positive energy, then you will receive positive positivity. But if a man is negative and he has negative energy, you will receive that negativity. Just how she talked about how it materializes as, fibroids and, uterine issues and things like that. Listen, there's a lot of different ways that it can play out, and I just want y'all to be aware.
Easiest way to fuck up your life? Have a kid with the wrong woman. Worse, have a kid with a one-night stand. Somebody you don't even fucking know. To be fair to the women in the room, this massively is amplified for you because the carrying cost is usually greater for women than it is for men. So it applies both ways, which is why, by the way, in both nature and in humans, who generally is the more selective? Women, because they fully understand there is an inherent cost to them if the wrong person gets them pregnant. So in the interest of full disclosure, women have it way harder than men do there, but as a man, you want to fuck up your life, have a kid with the wrong person. As a woman, you want to fuck up your life, have a kid with the wrong person. Now, kids are always a blessing. If they come in here, they're dropping in for a purpose, so even if the circumstances are shitty, you can usually look back and think, well, maybe I don't like how this happened, but I absolutely love my children or my child. But just learn that, which means, and the reason I started with men is because who gets to make that decision on the front end? Men.
Ooh, he dropped a bomb. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't agree with this whole Project 2025, banning, termination of, you know what I mean? Trying to be careful what I say, okay? But I don't agree with that because you're penalizing a woman for the choice of two people. I'm never going to sit here and say that it's a woman's fault or a man's fault that people end up pregnant. It's two people. And just like he said, the easiest way for a man to fuck up his life is to have a baby by the wrong person, because just like you as a woman can receive negative energy from a man and having children with said man, men also can be tied to a negative bloodline by allowing their seed to incubate within a toxic womb, spiritually, metaphorically speaking, okay?
Like 2 days ago, I posted a video about how I met 4 vampires while I was doing Lyft. This is actually the car I was in. One was here, the rest of them were there. And in the comments, people kept asking me, like, how do I know it wasn't an alien? How do I know it wasn't a djinn? And several people mentioned the djinn thing. And it made me think about the time I was coming off the L. This man told me that I was pregnant by a djinn. So I was coming off the red line at Wilson because I lived in Uptown. And he was sitting there. He had like a microphone and something. He was handing out some Muslim, like, religious paperwork or whatever. And he stopped me. And he's like, hey, like, you should take Allah's, all that type of stuff. And I, stopped to talk to him for a minute. He's like, what's your name? I'm like, Jamila. He pointed down to my stomach. He's like, that's Ryan Boudreaux's baby. I'm like, what? Because at the time, this could make me sound like such a slut bucket, but I didn't even know my baby daddy's last name. Hate to say it, but you can understand why. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you know? And he's like, oh, I used to room with him at some place that they were staying at, and he's like, he's a djinn. So I want you to know you pregnant by a djinn. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, ask your mom. She's Muslim. Hold on! What you know about my mama? Because my family has never been super religious, but my mom did used to practice Islam. My daddy Jehovah's Witness, and my auntie had us in church every Sunday. They was mixing religions up. But still, who are you and what's going on? So he gave me some examples of how my baby daddy used to always throw away his like religious work, and his Muslim tapes would come up missing, his Quran would come up missing. Now, as he's telling me this, I'm freaking out because what is a djinn? So as I go home, I'm talking to my roommate about it, and I'm thinking about how the very first and foremost, I wanted to wait until I was married to have sex. I wanted to wait until I was married to lose my virginity. Someone took it upon themselves to take it without my consult, but that's a different story. However, that year, I was like throwing caution to the wind, but still not in the whole phase. I met my baby daddy, and it was just something that hit that je ne sais quoi, and he was fine as ever, right? I met him on Thursday. I was in bed with him on Tuesday, and that's so unlike me. And the crazy thing about it was, I was in there like a vixen. I don't know what was going on with me. But the whole time in my head, I'm screaming, like, stop, like, you don't want to do this. Like, tell him to stop, tell him get up, make him leave. However, I could not get the words out of my mouth, and I could not stop doing what I was doing. Anyways, when we were done, he was like, I just got you pregnant with my son. Now, another thing, why was I having unprotected sex? Completely unlike me. Like, it was almost like, again, in a trance.
Child, that's what they do. They will put you in a trance. And I can totally, like, this is bringing up trauma for me, y'all. That's why I was a little like, I was a little thrown off at the beginning of the video, because I already knew it was going to bring up a lot of trauma for me. And I honestly remember when I got pregnant with my first son, because I knew, like, on a spiritual level, like, I knew that I had gotten pregnant. It kind of brings up trauma because, like, he never, like, forced himself on me. That was never what it was. Like, voluntarily I did this. But at the same time, when she's talking about how this guy had this kind of, like, power over her to where she knew and felt like inside she didn't want to do it, but her body was being controlled by some other force, or like she felt like she couldn't resist or turn away. That's a strong form of spell work, y'all. A lot of these guys out here, like, some of them know, but I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm not trying to villainize men. Some of them know what they're doing, but a lot of them don't even understand what they're doing. If you've ever seen a guy, or, you know, been around a group of men, and one of them or a few of them just have this ability to, like, command a room, command a crowd, they have charisma, they have, like, this it feels like a very deeply embedded ability to draw people in. That is a part of their spirit. That's a part of something that is connected to their bloodline. And it may be a long forgotten gift, talent, skill, ability, or connection to some type of negative entity or spirit that one of their ancestors connected to, and it has trickled down to them and still is connected to them, because energy never dies, like Miss Badu said. It only gets transferred. So I'm just saying.
So he's like, I just got you pregnant with my son. I'm like, why would you say that? And he's like, I'm outside, so I'm like looking at my surroundings. That's a side effect of living in Chicago. You go be. Anyways, he's like, I just got you pregnant with my son because I'm not gonna live to see 30, and a piece of me have to still be out here on Earth walking around. Okay, now I don't want to see you no more. Cute or not, you're crazy. You gotta go. So I threw his number away, and I thought I wasn't gonna never look back. And so 3 weeks later, who's pregnant? Me. Long story short, we have a son. He is, I think he's 22 or 23. When you have this many kids, it's hard to keep track. But
girl,
this brother told me I was pregnant by a gin. And then he told me the day our son was born that now it's time to have a daughter. And at the time, I'm like, bro, I didn't even really plan on seeing this guy again, but because I was pregnant, of course, had to reach back out. But I'm not having no more kids with you. All right, so our daughter would be 21, and he died when he was 27. So I was telling this story to one of my friends, and she was kind of saying that she had like some clairvoyance.
Shut up.
And she's like, oh no, jinns really exist or whatever.
Yo.
And so I was just like, but he was so fam, like how could it be a jinn and look like that? And so I was showing her a picture, and her face turned, like, she lost the color in her face. And she was like, get that picture away from me. She's like, he's definitely a jinn, but not just any kind. He's a succubus or some shit. She said something like that. And she was saying, like, they are the sexual ones, and they have, like, a sexual power. And did. But, and it's so crazy because, like, at some point we tried to be in a little relationship, and he had cheated on me. So I broke up with him, but no, I was talking to the lady he cheated on me with. She had, like, he was driving her car, and just, like, she had lost her damn man with the input, like, what she was letting him do in her life. And I was like, girl, have you lost your man? The D ain't that good. And she was like, yes, it is. And I was like, it is. But anyways, yeah, that's my little Jen story. Wait, why's all this supernatural shit happening? Lord, if you're trying to tell me something.
Child, Listen, and it happens fast too. I just want y'all to know, especially if you don't have any children and you're young. I don't know who's gonna be watching this video. I'm just saying it happens so fast. Like literally, I started hanging out, child. We didn't even date, child. We was hanging out. I started hanging out with my ex-husband, and like literally, it had to be like a month. It had to be like a month later. I was pregnant, child. Oh man, and it's crazy because I've always been very empathic, and when she said that he told her after they, were intimate that she was pregnant, and then she was, because I'm very empathic, I feel like I was picking up on my ex-husband's intentions. Like he was trying to get me pregnant, because what happens with succubus energies, she was talking about him being a succubus. Her friend told her that he was a succubus, and what they do is like it's basically like a leech. They find a way to latch on, and then they latch on, and usually it's very difficult to get rid of them, because whatever energy is on them, whatever entity is on them, whatever spirit is attached to them or their bloodline needs to feed in order to have power. So if they're able to feed off of that person, and then that person is able to feed off other people, it's providing them more power. So if you want to look up what a jinn is, you can, but I know it's like a spiritual term for a spirit or an entity, and I'm not exactly sure exactly what it is. Maybe we can do some videos about it, but y'all let me know in the comments. Have you ever dealt with someone who you feel like was a succubus, and what happened? Because if you feel comfortable sharing, it might be beneficial for someone else who's watching. It happens very quickly, y'all. It happens so quickly, and that's what ended up happening with me. It's like before I know it, I had 2 kids, and I just felt like it would have went on forever. It would have, and it was crazy because I don't want to tell anybody's business, but this is my story as well. So in his family, his mother and father had so many children, to the point where, because I'm a little bit psychic and because I'm a little bit clairvoyant, or whatever you want to call it, I have intuition out of this world. He had to mentally and emotionally me to where I questioned myself so much, to where even doing this video is hard. What I did know is that if I did not escape, my survival instincts kicked in, y'all. What I did know is that if I did not escape, I was going to end up repeating that cycle with him that his mother ended up experiencing with his father, and I was not about to be the one, child. Okay, period.
Pregnant women in the church, and the demons would send me. Remember, it is not me, because I'm out of my body. The soul that has the will, the emotion to feel bad, and the intellect to think that no, I should not do this.
She said that was not me. Let me make this clear. It says high ex Satanist explains how she attacked babies in church. And she had to make it clear that that spirit was taking over me before I tell you what I did. Oh my God.
Has been taken, and now the demon, the jinn, has entered. Yes, it has my body. I would go greet them, in church, how people love hugging. Oh, congratulations. Thank you. I wanted just the umbilical cord. The moment I would touch the umbilical cord of
the belly button, the navel.
The belly, that belly button. Yes. So I pretend, I hold the stomach like that, and then I touch. I just leave the rest to the jinn. Now, there are some children who are possessed before they are born. And a person will say, how? Even in the Bible, John the Baptist was filled with the Holy Spirit. When the mother came in contact with Mary, because Mary was carrying God. When the mother met with Mary, who was carrying God, John the Baptist was filled with the Holy Spirit. Now imagine you are a mother and you meet former Erica, who was carrying demons. What would happen to your child? They would get possessed. Other children, the jinn would send spells on them. They die at birth. Others miscarriage. Others get complications, because at the end of the day, they are targeting this other generation, the energy, the force, depending on the destiny the child has. Others, they steal the vacuum, the life force. You just give birth to an empty baby. Other children are walking at that age. Your child is not walking at that age. Your child is very slow. Like children are eating at a certain age. Yours is eating at 5 years. Parents, you have to wake up.
Ooh, that was ooh. Ooh, shit. But see, that's crazy because you really have to be careful of who you allow to literally touch you. The fact that she was explaining that from the standpoint of a woman already being pregnant, what I want y'all to understand is that is the exact same situation as you being impregnated by someone who holds that energy on them. It's just not happening after the fact. It's happening in the midst of your pregnancy. Just like she said, she would touch the belly button and get to the umbilical cord, and she would allow the jinn to do what it's wanting to do to that, embryo or that child within the woman's womb. If you have a baby with someone or get pregnant by someone who carries that energy on them on that level, that entity is already accessing your child from the point of inception or conception. Okay. And that's exactly what I was talking about with men having children with the wrong person. That energy has already infiltrated that woman's womb. Oh my God.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are pregnant, be very careful of who rubs and touches your stomach. Be mindful. Understand that people carry spells, people carry witchcraft. And when they are rubbing your stomach, understand that they are putting a spell on your unborn child. You think a lot of times people rub your stomach because they're happy for you and they are being genuine, and that's never the case. Spirits transfer. So when people rub your stomach, the spirit that they got in them will transfer to your unborn child. Why do you think after you have that baby cries all night? No matter how much you change the baby, no matter how much you feed the baby, play with the baby continues to cry. And you try to figure out what's wrong. Because the baby feels that demonic energy. Then when that child turns 2 years old, why do you think that they have a temper tantrum? Not because it's a lack of love, not because you don't give that child attention, but because they feel that demonic energy that was transferred to them when they were in your stomach. Next thing you know, when your child gets older, they start having problems in school. They start having problems reading and writing. They start having problems comprehending, not understanding, all because that spirit was transferred from someone else to your stomach. Not because it's a generational curse, but because you allowed a cursed person to touch your stomach. Y'all better be careful.
And I feel like it could be either or. She said that people only want to touch your stomach to transfer negative energy or whatever. I do feel like there are people who are happy for a person to conceive or become pregnant. I feel like there are people with good energy that may want to touch your stomach. I don't think just because somebody wants to touch your stomach when you're pregnant that they have bad intentions. I don't believe that, because I don't believe that everyone is bad. But what I do know is that through experience, there are a lot of times where people have hidden animosity towards you. They have hidden jealousy or insecurity about their own situation towards you. That is in itself a form of a negative attachment or some type of negative vibration that could carry over, because babies are very aware, especially in the womb. I'm going to say this and it might sound crazy, but when the guy at the beginning was talking about how the woman's womb is like the portal to life and creation, and how the womb created the world and like the earth and everything, the first few videos that we watched, I can kind of remember like when he showed that clip of like going through the portal. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, let me know if any of you guys feel like this, but I feel like I can remember like being in my mom's womb, like vaguely. I can remember seeing the light and the light being really bright. And the only reason why I say this is because when I was young, I have a picture and I still have it, and it's in like this little circular bracelet thing that my mom got from the hospital, like when they come in and take pictures. And she told me that like when I came out, like my eyes were open. And I remember it because I remember never experiencing light so bright in my life. Like I've seen bright light shine on me and I've had like headlights in my face and things like that. But when I tell you, I have a ingrained memory of the brightest light I've ever seen in my life being shined in my face, and remembering coming out of like a tube. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So I slick feel like I remember being born. And I don't know really how to, explain that other than that's what I remember. And she told me I started crying and got irritated when they flashed the picture. They flashed the camera in my face to take that picture of me. That's what triggered me remembering like seeing the bright light for the first time. And like for the first 6 or 7 years of my life, we still took school photos. And I still to this day remember sitting there knowing that the flash was coming and just feeling really anxious about it as a child, because I really did not like bright lights in my face, child. Okay. Because I was like, why am I being born? Okay. Why? Let me stay in here and mind my business.
Let's talk about spiritual warfare that comes through the bloodlines and the karma that many chosen ones have to clean up. Let's start with the basics. You have a maternal bloodline and you have a paternal bloodline. And on each side of the bloodline, there comes iniquities, unclean spirits, maybe generational curses, patterns, diseases, things that go through from generation to generation. When you're a light worker, God's child, chosen one, you tend to be more aware of these types of things. And chances are you might be the only person in your family that has studied this subject and can start understanding why you recognize certain patterns that have happened in your family. So the first step is the awareness of it, usually by the black sheep, and the second step is trying to find a way to shut that down, and that's going to be through you. So as a chosen one, as you become more closer to the Most High, as you spend time in solitude and in isolation, getting to know your Creator, there's going to be wisdom that you will be downloading. It's kind of like the blueprints on how to navigate those generational curses or the karma that has been following your bloodline for many, many generations. There might be a pattern in your family, right, that people react to. It could cause people to feel betrayed, people to be angry, upset, bitter, right? As a chosen one, you can observe the pattern, but you're going to eventually learn how to not be involved or triggered into that pattern, and you take a step back. The Bible tells us we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers of the darkness. I think it's Ephesians 6. So you start to understand that when you're dealing with spiritual warfare in your bloodline, this might be unclean spirits that are trying to get you to continue the pattern that has been plaguing your family for all these generations. So as a chosen one, light worker, you've got to understand how to fight this in the 5th dimension and not get triggered in the 3rd dimension. And rather than reacting to the patterns, you need to go up into heaven and ask God to help you. Ask him to give you wisdom. Ask him to clean your heart. Ask him to remove the bitterness that you might have because you have been hurt by maybe people in your family members. You have to learn the art of spiritual war, and that requires prayer, meditation, maybe fasting, and you start to attack things from a higher perspective, and you don't play fire with fire. You learn how to war in the spirit. Because we know an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. So we have to find a way on how to attack these generational curses, but from a higher perspective, from the kingdom of God, to really defeat evil for good. So as a chosen one, it's up to us to get the memo. Learn not to get triggered and hurt by these spirits operating in our family members. Understand that things that were done previous generations, that's karma that family bloodlines have built. And as the chosen one, it might be you to recognize it and stop it. Let me know if you want more information or more videos on this subject, because I got a lot of downloads over the weekend that I'd like to share. If you haven't done so, be sure to like and follow my page. Check out the links in my bio. If you're interested in starting your heart-centered online business, I have a free ebook. If you're dealing with narcissistic abuse, I have a 30-day journal, biblically inspired, to help raise your spirit up again. I'll catch you in the next video.
Real talk. Be careful who you have a child by. Now let me explain though. I'm gonna tell you why.
Come on.
Have you ever met somebody's family, somebody you was dating, whatever, and the mom or the aunt or the uncle was just off the chain? They said crazy stuff and you like, what the heck? Where'd that come from?
Not just the mom, the aunt, or the uncle, the dad, the brother, the sister, the cousin.
Even though it's not the person you're dating, that's their blood family. That's the family tree. You understand what I'm saying? Roots run deep. Now you dating somebody and they showing signs of that craziness, you know, mad inner demons, mental health, all that. Or maybe, like I said, a grandmother, an uncle, whatever. Or you got family members doing time from
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all. Seriously, y'all think that's cute, that's attractive? Then you get pregnant by the dude. Now your child come out and got a whole heap of problems. Highly disturbed. Child highly bouncing off the walls. Teacher calling every day, sending home letters.
I'm not laughing at her. It's more of an uncomfortable, relatable laughter. Jesus.
When you sow into that family, when you have a seed by or impregnate somebody, you sowing into that family, into that family tree.
Ugh.
Every curse, every generational demon. Please understand that.
Heebie-jeebies.
If I could go back, I love my children. Don't get it twisted. But I have 4 children, y'all. I have 4. If I could go way back, and what I know today, I would have been careful who I select. Because if you don't have that spiritual authority and that wisdom to clear them generational curses and clear that karmic debt, them past lives, all them demons that's attached, and be able to teach your child how to protect themselves, that's something they have to live with and deal with.
Right.
So be wise in who you lay with. Because sex is spiritual. It is an intimacy. It is deep. And creating another life is even deeper. Understand, when they say you are unequally yoked, that's real. That's a real thing. If you have healed your spirit and you are ascending, but yet you still dating the man that is living in his pain, operating in his lower self. He in hell right now, but you in heaven. What type of child you think you getting ready to create? Peace.
I've never experienced bliss through pregnancy. All of my pregnancies had trauma attached to them. Births had trauma attached to them. So having this space and this opportunity to bring life into the world with someone who loves and adores me and is also going to love and adore this child in the process, and you know, all of those things, it's just it's a blessing.
Y'all. Ooh. You guys, that last one made me get emotional because I wanted to listen, when I tell you guys that I put my heart and soul in everything that I do, I wanted to bring the video full circle because there is hope. There are good people on this planet. There are good people on this earth. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman watching this. I don't care if you have children or you don't have children and you're watching this. But watching her in that last video talk about how she finally had the chance to bring a child into this earth without experiencing trauma, it hit me. And I'm really not trying to cry, but like I fight every day for my babies. And the first video I ever did on this channel was talking about how my ex-husband brainwashed my sons. Now they're older, they're teenagers, but at that time they were still in their single-digit years. I just saw all of the pain that he was transferring to them because I was broken and could not fully get away from him. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did, it was like a mental thing that I could not escape. And I tell you no lie, like even to this day, I have still had on and off situations where he has still been a part of our lives. And I battle and grapple with telling my kids that they cannot be around him. They have their time with him and his negative energy infiltrates my sacred space again. That's what happened when I was intimate with him. That's what happened when I ended up getting pregnant, he has something on him that creates scenarios in my life to infiltrate my sacred space and to disrupt my peace. And for a long time, I struggled to get away from him because things would go negatively in my life. But what I had to realize is that it was because I continued to have him around, even if it was with the best intentions. I continued to allow him to be around and be around his children, and his energy and whatever's attached to him was throwing off my ability to be successful and productive. And every time I got something or I did something, I'm sorry, I'm really trying to be strong and tell y'all this. I don't have nothing to wipe my face with. Oh God. Y'all, all my cats are around me. Because they know I'm upset, but I'm not really upset. You guys have to understand that everything I do, everything I say, all of the things that I express to you guys on this channel, it comes from a place of love, because there's been so much pain and so much hurt that I've been through that I don't want anyone else on this earth to have to experience what I've been through. I don't want any other woman or any other child or any other human being to have to experience what I've been through. So I talk about things that may not be necessarily 100% eye-catching, and I express myself even though it may extend the length of the video, and I tell you guys what I've been through and share my story, even if one day, it may look bad or look embarrassing, because in my heart of hearts, I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. And when I made this video, when I thought about making this video, when one of you guys commented on the community post to make this video, it just put a lot of things in perspective. And I've told you guys before, this channel's not monetized yet. It's very close to getting monetized, but it's not monetized yet. And it's just a really crazy time in my life. And part of the reason why it's so crazy is because I am finally choosing, even in this new place that I just moved into at the end of July, I still was battling with escaping from the succubus energy that was housed and is housed within this individual. My youngest son's father does not bother me. He does not speak to me. He does not talk to me. But my ex-husband literally does everything that he can to either infiltrate my life or cause me to have poverty in my life, so that I am forced to have to call him or reach out to him. And he targeted me because he knew I didn't have a mom. He knew I lost my mother. He targeted me because he knew I was in a state of lack. And like the woman said at the beginning of the video, you attract what you are. And it's not necessarily that I was walking around with evil intentions, but sometimes when you're talking about energy, you have to understand that energetically, different emotions can create similar frequencies. So if you're in a place of sadness and loss, where you've lost a parent or you've lost a child or you've lost someone very close to you, or you're sad about your career path, or you're sad about being lonely or feeling lonely in itself, that frequency, that energy frequency can match another low vibrational energy frequency on some level that may draw you closer magnetically to a person who has less than savory intentions. On some level, I feel like it's because those people are sad and upset and disheveled in their own life because they have negativity around them. So when I made this choice to do this reaction with you guys, it was literally because I don't want any more women to have to deal with the deviance of the world. And I'm being straight up with y'all. I don't want any more women to fall victim to this. And it does take a certain level of self-reflection and accountability for you towards yourself in order to see where you may be repeating bad habits or making mistakes or even not taking accountability. It takes accountability to be accountable. It takes accountability to see where you could potentially be ruining your own life or self-sabotaging your own life. And it's hard to dig into that, but it's something that prevents you and blocks you from these types of situations and from this level of pain, whether you're a man or a woman, whoever you are, whatever you believe, whatever your personal identification is. And it kind of irritates me when I see men and women women putting blame on people as if people don't blame themselves enough. I can't stand to see men or women blame other women. You know, I can't stand to see men blame women for their choice of who they had a child with. And I can't stand to see women blame other women for their choice of who they had a child with. And yes, while I understand there's accountability, I also feel like we live in a time in the world and in a society, especially in America, where this type of situation is literally created because there is a breeding ground of dysfunction. And I just feel personally like it's time for us to turn a new page. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments, you guys. Let me know any other topics that you want me to talk about. I didn't mean to end it off so heavy, but it was more like happy tears, because when I see someone like the last clip, the woman in the last clip that we watched, talk about how much trauma she experienced with her births and with her children, and then to see her be pregnant and to be with a person, at least from her recollection, that is providing her a different experience of something that's actually positive that she's never felt before, to the point where it brought her to tears. I know that that's real. And I know that even if I don't choose to have any more children, that the love that she's feeling in this moment is possible, and it gives me hope of what's possible for the future. So you guys, as always, my loves, be sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to catch the vibe. Get in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know what else you guys may want me to talk about, because I have a bunch of stuff planned. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying the channel. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.